What's the buzz? Hey, hey, hey!
I have to admit, I was a little nervous going into my career first preview event for a game that hadn't even been announced yet. I'm plenty familiar with Story of Seasons, but didn't know what I was getting into until actually walking into the room for said event, the same one that also produced my recent Rune Factory preview. I'd never gone in more or less without context before, but as I sat down at the PC, hit the start button, and began creating my character, Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar wrapped me up in its charms and made me feel like it was all going to be okay. Grand Bazaar is, sort of, a remake of 2008's Harvest Moon DS Grand Bazaar, a lesser-known title in the franchise that I had actually completely forgotten about, though a little internet digging prior to last week's Nintendo Direct announcement told me that it's a bit of a hidden gem. But getting properly into the game, it very quickly became clear that this new Story of Seasons branded iteration is much more of a remake, taking heavy inspiration from that original game, cherry-picking the best parts of it, and bringing them in scope with what we'd expect from a 2025 farming sim. The player, with their fully customizable character, unfortunately I didn't get to capture footage of my own guy but trust that he looked adorable, is invited to move to the famously windy Zephyr Town by Mayor Felix, who wants to revive the town's titular Grand Bazaar and shows you the ropes of how to run your store right off the bat before leaving you alone with your new freely provided home and farming land to start hacking it on your own. The actual operation of the Bazaar stall is appropriately simple for a cozy game, as you'll place each sellable item into the stall's inventory ahead of time with a fixed price, and all you have to do is attract people to your stall and mash the confirm button to sell, sell, sell. Funds are then spent on upgrades to the stall, to the farm, and to the bazaar and other helpful structures around town, as well as being used to purchase goods. I only got to see the bazaar fully empty and then mostly finished, but it feels like a suitable progression marker that reminded me of the slowly opening city from Animal Crossing New Leaf. Otherwise, the game is typical Story of Seasons fare with a gorgeous, super deformed and cel-shaded art style that fully captures the charm of the classic titles in the series, but pops with color and expression in a way they simply couldn't. You'll meet the various townspeople, get to know them, and find the one that matches you the best. Each character has unique events, and for the first time in the series, the character scenes are fully voiced, just making everybody that much more interesting. In case you were wondering, yes, any of the dateable townsfolk can be romanced by a player of any gender. Zephyr Town lives up to its name with changing wind conditions that affect the farm and environment, and a series of windmills that the player can use to automate item production, a must when you're gonna need to mass produce sellable goods. The most interesting addition to the series, though, is a new glider that expands maneuverability options surprisingly far for such a simple fixed camera angle title. I've played games with simple gliding mechanics before, but getting to do it in a game like Grand Bazaar is novel, and it feels surprisingly fresh. The weather system isn't always your friend, though. The area does occasionally see hurricanes, and one of these was included in my demo experience. You'll be warned ahead of time, and the player has the ability to prepare by windproofing their crops and other naturally occurring gathering and farming spots in the wild. I already had the tools for this on hand, so I don't know how much work will go into creating said equipment, so it's probably best to prepare for the eventuality of bad weather far in advance. My personal favorite addition, though, is surprisingly mundane: the pets that can be bought from the bazaar and kept at your home. These are separate from the series' typical livestock, though they can be helpful as dogs will herd your other animals. Having ordinary pets around makes a surprising difference in my emotional investment in the game, and yes, of course you can pet them, or even pick them up and carry them around. Where my piece on Rune Factory Guardians of Ozma emphasized just how much bigger that game was than the titles that came before it, Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar works primarily by taking the parts of the previous games that shined and enhancing them even further. While I didn't get to dig particularly deep into it, my brief experience showed that the development team knows exactly what they're doing to create an entry in this long and storied franchise that will both deliver a fresh, updated experience to current fans and welcome newcomers into the fold with open arms and a free house. In this economy, that's a tough offer to pass up. Story of Seasons Grand Bazaar is coming to Nintendo Switch and PC via Steam on August 27th, 2025. Thanks for watching. This video is brought to you by our supporters on Patreon. Noisy Pixel is run by a group of gamers providing independent gaming coverage through news, reviews, previews, and more. Check out our Patreon to help support our continued growth and subscribe to keep up with all of our future content.
Oh gosh.
Going with the flow? Hello?
Good day! Quite the scorcher!
Voice Pixel.